Foeslayer's joints ached where they had remained in a fixed position for so long. But she did not acknowledge it, did not shift. Years of training had desensitized her to bodily complaints. The night air was heavy in her lungs. The heat of midsummer, even at midnight, was stifling along her scales. It was background noise in her brain, not worth her focus. She instilled those same thoughts into her own soldiers. Let the civilians worry about the mundane, she instructed. Rise above it. Instead, her gaze stayed on the moons, all three of them not quite so full now. Their reflections shimmered on the choppy sea. Waves smashed their ferocity upon the cliff base, reverberating up 200 feet of stone to tremble under Foeslayer's talons. Still, she remained immovable. It was time to face her failure with pride. She'd had one chance to prove herself. Despite the failings of her birth, she'd been given an opportunity to realize all her dreams, her tribe's dreams, yet even that had been soured by forces beyond her control. Truly, that was the story of her life, it seemed. She would do everything in her power to achieve her life's ambitions, only for things she couldn't account for to ruin it all. Her lack of powers, her love for Arctic, the hatred of his mother, her defective dragonets. And now, the entire mission was at risk. So why didn't she care? It almost felt treasonous to care more for the tiny dragonets that she had brought into the world just the other night, rather than the whole purpose for her existence. Yet there was no denying it. Even now, a part of her usually focused mind was splintered and worried. It was a foreign feeling, and she shouldn't like it. Her mother paced the cliff edge in front of her. Every now and then, a spray of sea air would blast up and sweep beneath Prudence's wings to hit Foeslayer in the face. It was as if the kingdom itself was scolding her. Prudence lashed her tail, talons dug into the ground. Foeslayer remained at attention, her face impassive.
You have no idea the hurdles I had to jump through for you,
Prudence finally hissed. She overlooked the sea, dark and churning with the promise of an incoming storm.
We came this close to ending it. Years' worth of work, almost for nothing.
Foeslayer schooled her features, so that she wouldn't wince.
But it's done now. We can salvage this. Plans are already underway to accommodate a new strategy.
Relief made Foeslayer's tired muscles want to slacken, until her mother's next words nearly broke her.
The dragonets will be taken to our facility further south. There we can test them to see which holds more value.
No.
Prudence froze. Stiffly, she swiveled her head to glare at Foeslayer.
As the head of this program, you do not defy me.
They are my dragonets,
Foeslayer said. It felt like the words were dragged up from the bottom of her spine. Every day of her life, every rule she'd ever memorized, every moment of training and conditioning told her to never question orders, never talk back. The program is everything. But these words would not be silenced, as if her hatchlings had put them in her heart as a keepsake when their eggs had left her body.
You can't take them.
This is for the sake of everything we've been working towards. It is clear to everyone that you are compromised.
But Mother...
Commander,
Prudence corrected.
I see. I should have made that distinction clearer when you were growing up.
Commander...
Foeslayer amended through clenched teeth.
I am part of this program too. I am the best of what a Nightwing has to offer.
You have no powers.
The cold words aggravated a wound that had been with Foeslayer since the day she hatched on a moonless night. Her first impulse was to get angry, but it was what Prudence wanted.
I am the greatest warrior in our army. I am the captain of the aerial defense. The genes of the best Nightwings in our history run through me. The program is everything to me. I can train them, you know I can.
I knew you could seduce the Ice Wing as ordered, but that went awry, didn't it?
Prudence cocked her head, eyes narrowed.
Who's to say your feelings won't cloud your judgment this time as well?
Because I know if I fail, my dragonets are forfeit. And you can rely on how much I'd do anything to not let that happen.
For the first time in her life, Foeslayer raised her head so she stood taller than her mother.
And you need me. If either of them are what you want, then you will need Arctic's help, and we both know he wouldn't do it for you.
Prudence glared. Foeslayer held herself still and stared back. She hoped her mother couldn't see her tail tip twitching. Not for the first time, Foeslayer caught herself wishing that she and Arctic had fled across the sea as they had intended. But once again, fate had snatched away Foeslayer's dreams. Finally, Prudence sneered.
Very well. You may keep your dragonets if you are determined to suffer this way.
I am.
And there would be suffering. Prudence would make sure of it. It might mean Foeslayer would always be watching for spies, ready to report any weakness. It would mean she'd have to be a tougher mother than she'd wanted to be. It might break her to not be able to sweep her perfect dragonets into her wings and shower them with love. But it would be worth it, Foeslayer told herself. Anything for her dragonets. They were going to change the world.